Lime, duh. I didn't see Peacemaker yet, but friend of the show, Patroniak, Peter Hoare posted the intro, and I was saying, are you drinking a White Claw? Wait, let's get to the bottom of that first. Are you drinking a White Claw at 10 a.m.?
Yeah.
Has anyone? It's clearly not a White Claw, but I don't know what it is. But it looks just like a White Claw. But two things: good for White Claw on having the branding of like a white can, like a white skinny can. You're like, it's a White Claw. And then also, I want to point out: has anyone ever made the joke? Because you go like, well, it's 5 p.m. somewhere, right?
Yes.
Does anyone go like, oh, it's 10 a.m. and you go, yeah, well, it's 7 a.m. somewhere? Does someone ever just lean hard into being an alcoholic?
Oh, like saying like they start drinking at 7 a.m.?
Yeah. You're like, sorry for the late start, essentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I might have even made that joke at one point.
It has to have existed. It's at least happened in an improv scene, that's for sure.
For sure. And when everyone went,
Yeah, everyone went, yeah, it's good. That was good. Anyway.
Improv sucks.
This
is a triple shot La Colombe coffee.
Oh, I forgot how schmancy you are.
We are not sponsored. This is from Trader Joe's, my guy. This is not fancy.
Oh yeah, well, the Trader Joe's by me.
I don't know if you thought. A lot
of people say Angelina Jolie is in there a lot, is what I've been hearing.
I don't know if you thought because it started with a la, but this is not fancy.
Well, La Colombe, they'll have like. I don't want to talk about La Colombe. I want to talk about the Peacemaker intro, which is just about as fantastic as you would think it is. Like it's
I mean,
they kind of do like an old school, like here's the whole cast dancing,
yes,
right?
Yeah, and it changes each episode. It changes.
Wow,
as different characters are like about to be introduced.
So I'll say this: I'm going through like kind of a TV rut where I'm kind of like don't really know what like. I'm like, I don't know what to watch, and and I'm like, I'll watch things, but I'm like, I'm kind of unexcited to hit play. I haven't had a thing where I'm like excited to watch it.
Right.
But then like everyone's like, oh, Peacemaker with John Cena, and I realized how big of a star Cena is in my brain. Like, I mean, he's a huge star to begin with, but I was like, oh yeah, John Cena, like a John Cena vehicle. Like I didn't even care. Suicide Squad, the movie, didn't do anything. I think the first one just like tarnished it for me. It was so bad.
Yeah,
but
then I thought the second one was pretty entertaining.
I liked it. It was really funny. I actually really liked it. I thought it was pretty funny. Yeah. I like in that movie they kind of pulled off the whole thing that it's like kind of vignettes of each character.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like the Harley Quinn, which she like kind of is dating that guy and then just kills him like that. You know, like I dug it. In the first one, it was like, what the fuck is this? You know,
right?
But
well, I think though, not to get
being
too,
at the helm of the show, I'm just saying that's all that made me excited.
Not to get too deep into the woods, but that just made me think of something. How it seems like DC movies and DC like content seems to get directed as though it's a comic book. Like it has like these scenes that are kind of like one character doing their thing and da da da. Whereas Marvel movies seem to get filmed as like this is just like a movie about this, and then this people in it are superheroes. And Peacemaker lands more in that category.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't feel necessarily like other DC stuff or even James Gunn stuff. Although I'm going to give you the straight talk. Do you want to finish your point? I'll give you the straight talk.
You're going to try to cancel. Are you going to try to cancel James Gunn again?
No.
For weird. He got canceled for just weird tweets, right?
For
weird tweets.
Just strange tweets.
And by canceled, he got 0% canceled. You know?
Well, I mean, the interesting thing is though that he is the victim of actual attempted canceling, where it was like a conspiracy by this guy named Mike Cernovich, who's a far right, like literal insane person.
Oh no! Is that Newman? Is this Newman? Or
this is me. No, this is true. This is all real.
Oh, okay.
Alex Jones is not here.
Okay.
This is Alex Newman.
Okay. All right.
This is real.
Until your camera distorted, I thought maybe your face was blown.
And there was this whole so because they're all weird pedophiles, they accuse everyone else of being weird pedophiles. And so when James Gunn had those tweets, he did something else to piss them off, and so they drug those up, and then it was literally a movement on Twitter by this guy, Mike Cernovich, to like get him fired, and it worked. So
I hate that.
it's a great example of like the reason they squeal like little piggies about canceling and cancel culture is because they are the number one perpetrators of it. Everything they do, or everything that they accuse other people of, they are guilty of themselves. It's so James Gunn. Now here's the real shit about Peacemaker.
Can I do one thing quick? Can I say one thing?
Of course.
Can I say one? Can I just say
I would
one
love
thing
for
really
you
quick?
to say one thing.
Welcome to the Comedians of Wrestling podcast. This is a podcast about professional wrestling for the professional wrestling fan. I am Dan Black, the host of the podcast. If you turn off this podcast, I will fucking kill you.
I love that it's just an actionable threat.
Should this be the new art like this, like kind of like the Joe Rogan experience?
I think we should stop.
All right,
I think any direction that heads towards Joe Rogan experience, we should go the other way.
I don't listen to Joe Rogan, so I don't really know what everyone's beef with them. But anyway, hey, guys, we're going to be talking about pro wrestling and everything else in 90% Hook at the strip club. And you can support us on patreon.com/comedians of wrestling. By the way, episodes have been, we're getting our bearings back with our schedule. But main episodes will be coming out on Mondays again. Okay, and bonus episodes coming out Friday morning. Now, for the Patreon, for the you get bonus episode of the week at the $10 tier. I'm working on a new angle, a new bonus for that. So everyone, I'll probably announce that like something like next week. I have an idea what I want to do for that. So thank you everybody for letting us. We run this operation ourselves, so letting us give us time to rejigger the shit. As we get into the new year and things become clear in this ever-evolving wrestling landscape. I mean, by the way, it's just nonstop now with the wrestling, right? Like, we've hit and we'll come back to Peacemaker. Literally, as I was sitting here, my phone beeped. Like, I have a list of stuff I want to talk about, and it's like, Mustafa Ali asked for his release. That just happened as we're sitting here.
Good for him.
Wrestling... It's interesting because wrestling, like, you know the 24-hour news cycle of...
Yes. I've heard of it.
You know about this? You heard about this?
Of it.
You heard about this?
Yeah. Many people are talking about it.
Sometimes you feel like the news, they're stretching the soup, you know? But I really believe you could have a 24-hour wrestling news cycle.
You definitely could. Hold on.
Definitely
Keep going, because I have a great example of, like, what you're talking about, stretching the soup.
Right.
Just give me 1 sec. Let me find it.
Because you can cut to matches. You can be like, meanwhile in Japan in the off hours, like what's going on in Japan. You know what I mean? And just at the desk all day, just be like, wow, Tama Tonga just tweeted out this. Hey, I bring up Tama Tonga because somebody posted him in the Discord. By the way, Patreon, for $2 only a month, you get access to our Discord, which is the greatest discussion. As Facebook is dying, elevate yourself to a higher tier of conversation over at the Discord, and also supports the pod. But someone posted in the thread, the Hot Guy Detour thread, a picture of Tama Tonga. It's looking fucking good right now.
So would you consider, if someone, where is he?
I would with Tama Tonga 100%. I'm a straight guy, but I would. Of
course.
Oh, what was the question?
So wait, no, what picture of Tama Tonga are we talking about? Where is it?
Go in the Discord server. It's on the Hawkeye Detour thread.
Let me see.
Someone had him. He's on the ropes. Like, you know when wrestlers are up on the turnbuckle and they just
I see him
yelling at the crowd. You know,
yeah,
look at that, jacked up, right? He's brought back the mohawk.
His thangs are thanging right now. Okay, so this Newsweek, you've heard of it, right? Newsweek,
of course. I'm from Long Island.
Right. Would you consider it like if you read a story in Newsweek, would you be like, this is like a reputable source?
I would think that it's a jabroni paper, but probably still a real paper. No?
Okay. Oh, well, I mean, so stretching the soup. So this is in the culture section. This is in the news, by the way. Reporting on a TikTok clip. And we have quotes pulled from TikTok user Bambi. We have quotes pulled from TikTok user 314159, who observed the second last one with the frickin' child gate box alongside a laughing face emoji. This is the news, Dan. This is what they're filling the gaps with.
Oh my God.
In the culture section. Culture.
Yo, this reminds me. I was talking to Shebs and he was telling me something. I forget exactly what he was telling me, but he was telling me something like very scientific, you know? And I'm like, where did you learn that? He goes, TikTok. Like, Shebs gets, now he's new. He used to be like a Wikipedia fiend. Now he's like, now he's coming at me with TikTok news, you know?
Yeah, but all of that is where do you get your news? Other people tell me what happened.
You know, it's really interesting, though, just to talk about Joe Rogan for 1 second.
Okay.
Because I don't listen to Joe Rogan. I have in the past. I
used to.
And I'm actually, I'll be honest, I've interacted with him a couple times in my life in person, and always like super nice guy. I watch him elevate some of people I know, like with his platform. You know what I mean? Because he's weird because he wears a lot of hats. I know him in the comedian way, you know? Mm-hmm. And also I don't really know him. I don't want to like claim to know him. I've just interacted with him before. And he but I've seen him elevate other comedians around him that he believes in a pretty selfless way that, like, even in my life, you know, people who I have friends who could do things for like me or something don't, you know, so I'll always like, I'm not complaining or anything, but I'm saying like doing that in this business, it's such an uncertain business, even if you're successful and blah, 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 and you can be like petty and this and that. I don't know. That's something I always respect about him. But I think what's tricky about him is he's very dynamic, because also there's another aspect of Joe Rogan, which is like I saw comedian Giannis Papas making this point, which is that like why people gravitate towards a Joe Rogan is that he's beholden to no one, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, he has a big Spotify contract, but it's pretty clear that he does whatever he wants still. That's like part of the deal. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he operates like out of Hollywood, and he has people on who he's interested in, and he has long-form conversations with them, like 3-4 hour conversations with them, and it's not like a network, which is beholden to advertisers and politics and lobbyists and blah, blah, blah. So I understand why people think that's good. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I think there's a danger in that too, right? Because it's completely unregulated.
I think he's beholden to more
This is more of your realm, Newman.
I think he's beholden to more interests than you realize.
Right.
Not anything insidious. I just think that it's not. I think so. When Joe Rogan
Illuminati?
says something, so you have to consider this. Like Joe Rogan gets 200 or 300 million downloads a month. Okay,
it's absolute insanity.
And so when people say like, "Oh, I don't mainstream news. I don't listen to. I get my news from like Joe Rogan. I like Joe Rogan. He's not main. It's like he is as mainstream as you can fucking get. When 300 million people a month are downloading your shit, you're the mainstream. Yeah, right?
But there's still power in not being like on Fallon. You know what I mean? Like
sure, but like for me, I used to listen to Rogan a lot. Yeah. I love. You know, the episodes when he would have like mycologists on and scientists and, you know, and then somewhere around like I don't know when it was, like 2015, 2016, when Nazis came back, he started having like Gavin McInnes and like Milo and all these like free speech people on. Yeah,
I don't know how you justify having like an Alex Jones in studio without. I mean, I know he storms in here, obviously, but have him in studio without saying to him like, "I want to just clarify these things you did that are like all the peacocking things you did that are so wrong to be famous." You know,
a possibility is that Joe Rogan is so wealthy and so powerful that none of this affects him in any real way.
Right,
and so he can talk about it from this sort of detached objectivity. Because there's not really anything in his life that's being affected by any of this. Right. Although he thinks it is, because he feels like I have to get out of LA, I have to go to Texas where weed is illegal, and now I'm best friends with the fucking governor. And like he's a comedian, and this is the eternal thing that I talk about all the time. Comedians are either, because you cannot be both, comedians are either institutions of America that should be protected because they speak truth to power, and they are like these like bastions of free speech and rebellion, right? Or it's just jokes, bro, and I'm just a dumbass and it's not serious, and these are just jokes and I'm trying to make people laugh, right? I think it's more of the first one than the second one, but Joe
those are
Rogan,
the comedians you like the Bill Hickses and blah blah blah.
right? But I also like just dumb shit too. Like I don't not like
a Bugenhagen.
just jokes, bro,
or
right.
Or a Sami Zayn.
Right, right. But anyway, Rogan is, in his words, a complete dumbass, except for when he feels like he's not, and he's talking about things that he's completely unqualified to talk about. And it's always, oh, a buddy of mine did this, a buddy of mine. So he has to reckon with how powerful he is, how influential he is. And it isn't just flippant, like, oh, I'm just riffing, man. It's just a conversation. It's like, well, dude, there's 300 million people downloading you. Like, it's not as small time as you think it is.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think we should move on just because this is
Also, who fucking cares?
because this is a pro wrestling podcast. And
Peacemaker.
You just lost us a listener. Well, you lost us one listener.
I didn't like them anyway.
Some mouth breathing.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's actually talk about. Let's kick it right off by congratulating my friend Brody King on debuting in AEW. Now, you say he's not my. You want to say that's you want to say that that's me.
Are you lying to me, Dan?
Or, I'll tell you this.
Are you?
I saw him the other day.
Yeah.
At GCW.
Yeah.
Came up to me, said, "What's up, man? How you doing?" With his head bleeding still.
That's sick.
After he wrestled, I think the Briscoes.
Did you tell him that?
Okay. So anyway,
Phil
he's a friend of mine.
That his favorite band, Phil's favorite band, is his band. Did you tell him?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes,
I thought Phil's favorite band is the Butcher's band.
Oh, right. But we also like God's Hate.
Yeah,
we like Brody's band.
Yeah. But no, what I'm saying about Brody, forget about me. That's more of a true, but not joke. But more of that, I remember Brody King came up. I remember his first PWG show. I remember Brody King was in the audience of a table read that I was doing out here we were reading Ryan Nemeth's script, and Brody was watching. And at that point, he never even performed in PWG, and I watched him at bar wrestling. I watched him at that. What was the one? Dynamite? Well, not Dynamite, but the one that they did that was like TNT.
Oh.
Right? They did like a charity wrestling show here for like shelter dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's at LA's own. And
not TNT.
Something like that. What was it called?
It wasn't like, it was like.
It's Hot Daddies, baby.
Hot Daddy.
I saw him at Hot Daddy's wrestling. Anyway, the point is to see him grow as a talent. Good for him. And just him next to Malachi Black is just what a match made in heaven. You know,
I have to go back and watch.
They were roommates, right?
In hell, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to go back and watch because Malachi pointed and counted like 1, 2, 3, like.
Yeah.
This was some destined moment. Like, oh, now I'm in the ring with all three of you. Now he's going to like appear. I have to go back and like connect those dots because we always connect dots in reverse. Remember? Yeah. So yeah, but that was amazing. I fucking lost my gourd in the text thread.
I lost my gourd as well.
Yeah.
Which is I call them marbles, but yeah, I lost my gourd and they're roommates in hell. So,
yeah.
Hello, your rent is overdue. This is the devil.
I hate this place. This is the worst place.
Oh my God, you got to pay rent here also? I mean, Jesus. This place is hell. It's hot as fuck. The amenities is unlimited heat.
And the landlord himself comes and collects the rent. It's just awkward. Like I feel like I could rather just drop it off in like a box.
I think that the devil collecting rent, if you're living in hell,
yeah,
that's like if the president collected our rent. I think
like just knock on the door.
If like Biden came here for my rent, you know, what I mean?
It's like the reverse. It's the anti-Santa. He goes door to door, collecting money from people,
digging holes and collecting souls. It's the
right.
Undertaker. No, but. That should be a pretty dope. So now, good for him. Great debut. I thought the crowd on Dynamite was kind of dead. Was it my sound or were they kind of dead?
There wasn't a lot of people there.
And there wasn't a lot of people there. They kind of blacked out the seats, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, looks like there's not a lot of people because I noticed it again on Rampage, which is obviously
Are they
the same
doing
crowd.
restricted capacity? Or are they not selling tickets?
I don't think I think that these arenas are big. They're going into big fucking arenas. Like WWE has a
Right.
hard time selling out some of these arenas. Like these are like 3-tier arenas, you know, with like LED boards on the 3rd tier, like the whole shebang, you
Right.
know. And they might need to scale it back because first off, because of COVID, and second off, because you know, as the excitement wears off and it settles to where it's gonna go, they might not be able to do what they did when they got CM Punk debuting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't know. That's something there. You know, that's for them to figure out. But it did feel.
Oh,
it felt light in
that's
there.
not on us? I thought we had to figure that
No,
out.
that is on us. But we should talk about it off air because I don't. You
Okay.
know what I mean? Like it's more of a private discussion for.
Yeah.
You know.
I gotta say.
podcasters determine house size. You know, everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone knows that.
Yeah, and I got to say, I do not feel qualified.
You
make
are
this
though.
decision.
You are though. You are. It's Peter Principle, bro. You rise to a level of incompetence. You know, like you're a great podcaster, so now you determine house sizes for wrestling shows. You know.
Okay, doesn't make sense, but okay.
But it definitely feels like AEW would benefit, maybe not monetarily, but from like a smaller crowd where it could echo a little more, you know?
Right.
But I don't know, you know, I think COVID's the problem here because was this our first episode without Daniel Bryan? Our first Dynamite?
Think so, yeah.
Yeah. You know, because, I mean, like, even a couple weeks ago, the crowd was pretty fucking hot for, like, Cowboy, Danielson. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, who knows? I don't really know what's going on. It's so hard. We live in such fucking strange times. It's like, it is so bizarre. It's like, are we closed? Are we not? Then you turn on the TV, full crowd. And then, like, I saw a couple masks in this clip I was watching of an AEW clip online, and there was, like, there was like 3 people in masks in the front row, and I was like, "Oh, wrestling fans wear masks?" You know, like
Right.
it's just a weird zone to be in. But congrats to Brody King, a perfect fit and a great step forward for whatever Malachi's up to here. You know, essentially, he is the first member of the House of Black. Is that kind of what it is?
Yes, and now, I mean, literally, that's what it is. But like, and then we had the Pac promo video where he's completely blinded, and he has the full card that Malachi had in his promo, talking about how he can see now, and so now he's going to join. I just don't know when they're going to make that happen.
Right.
And then my guess is they're going to get a woman too, because I think that the goal would be to have a champ,
Yeah.
tag, and female champ in one stable.
Very fun. We'll see where it goes. I'm into it. You know, I'm into it. I don't want to go this direction. I have way more to say about AEW, but I do want to talk about SmackDown.
Okay. I just read about it. I couldn't bear to watch it.
Watched SmackDown last night in full. We're heading into Rumble season. You know, look. We're heading into Rumble season. We got Brock and Reigns as the champ on both brands. You know, my man Johnny Knoxville's in the Rumble. So that's... Isn't wrestling so interesting how, like, I adore Johnny Knoxville. Like, Johnny Knoxville's probably, like, you know, one of the funniest fucking dudes. Like, I'll go see Jackass. If COVID, there's the fucking...
In
Roma,
IMAX.
Yeah, like, whatever
You
the
fucking
next...
kidding me?
The
Are you
Asacron variant, and it kills you on immediate impact. I'm still
Yeah.
seeing Jackass in the theater.
Yeah.
You know what I
it
mean?
fucking turns you inside out.
Yeah.
The minute it gets into your body. Just your outsides are your...
There's no way
Insights.
I'm watching Jackass the way that I'm watched like Don't Look Up, where I take like pee breaks and leave it running, and I'm on my phone, like, you know what I mean? Like I need to be like fully in like I need the laughter of a Jackass for my soul. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yes.
I it's going to be an event. I mean, we should go together, Newman.
Yeah, of course. I think we
like-
should do a
yeah.
Cal Movie Club on it.
We should. What are we gonna say?
Yeah. And then the bowling pin hit him in the throat.
5 moves. I'm gonna already
Yeah.
give a preemptive 5
Wow.
moves to Jackass.
Pre-order, 5 moves.
Jackass is what I love about Jackass is like it just shows everybody like how like everyone, like let's talk about like Don't Look Up. Like that's like this intellectual comedy. It's like at the end of the day, you cannot compete with dudes being human slingshots into piles of shit. Like you can't.
Yeah, if there's a surprise like injury.
Yeah. No.
Sorry, Adam McKay.
They found. I mean, Jackass makes me laugh. Just like I think about the concept, and I just laugh.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's comedy. It's crack.
Yeah.
It's like the most distilled, just version of funny, which is tragic things happening to other people.
Yeah, and like also like the work shoot element that like it's not funny, but like these guys are like in bad shape from this too. Like one of them's dead. Right, Ryan Dunn died like on an ATV, like doing essentially Jackass style shit. Right, Bam Margera is like
who is banned from the movie and from that whole.
He is. He's not in it.
No, because of how he's such a mess right now.
Oh, they're like he would do it, but they're like it's too unhealthy for you to be involved. They'd rather just pay him to stay. I mean,
he's posting videos on like social media of him like drinking until he throws up and like crying about how they excommunicated him. I mean, it's like,
oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like not Jackass. It's tragic in not the Jackass funny way. It's tragic in the unfunny way.
Right. Well, my point was more.
I'm Bam Margera. Welcome to Jackass. This is ruin your whole life.
This is a slingshot.
I'm gonna ruin my whole life, dude.
But my point was that when Johnny Knoxville involved in wrestling, like a guy like it's like go get out of here. Like it's so funny how like I don't want anybody involved in wrestling.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, as a medium, it is.
I'm even getting to the point where like I don't even want The Rock there. You know what I mean?
We need as little of The Rock as possible at this point is what we need.
Right. It sounds crazy, but it's like, you know, like, but anyway. So the point is that while I turned on SmackDown, I was like, listen, I'm not going to take Rollins Reigns for granted. Like, that's a no-joke match. Now, in true WWE fashion, like, it's slapped together. It's like the biggest feud they could have of their in my mind, their top-tier feud for the AEW crossover audience is Rollins Reigns, probably, right?
Right.
Maybe something AJ, you know?
Right.
You know, it's big time, right? Like Rollins is like the guy who they've done it right on. Also, you forget how big Rollins is, by the way. Random thing. He stands like the Reigns, and you're like, oh, Rollins is like big guy, you know?
Yeah.
He's got the Shawn Michaels build, but he's a huge dude, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, but so but in true WWE fashion, it's like clearly a last minute decision of like, and they do it every year. They have some match at the Rumble that doesn't really matter. Although this time they're saying Rollins might take the title. But again, it's just kind of like, remember they had the Finn Balor Brock one? Like I remember all of them. AJ, Daniel Bryan, and it's like a weird way you can kind of just like discount. You're like, all right, the champ needs to have a match here, but it's all about the Rumble, you know? Mm-hmm. But, like, this one was just, you know, it's, like, slapped together. I guess you can argue Rollins could win. But in terms of the feud, it's literally Adam Pearce just decided it. That's what they did. He was like, and they just, like, panned out to reveal Rollins, you know? Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, fine. But then they cut a promo in the ring, and literally the whole episode of SmackDown is, it's actually unwatchable. This episode of SmackDown. And I'll go through some of the segments, too, to prove it. But even the opening segment was just like an embarrassment. It was like a tag team thing. Literally, the opening segment is the Usos are out there saying God knows what, and then all these tag teams come down, and they're like, half of them are just like hodgepodge tag teams, and they're setting up for a match. It's like a bunch of tag teams. Yeah. Cesaro and Mansoor are a tag team now, okay? It's like Cesaro's 40 millionth tag partner, okay? Literally, Pat McAfee goes, there's Mansoor and Cesaro. Mansoor has great hair, and Cesaro doesn't. Like, all you
That's
can...
so fucking offensive. I am livid.
Pat
right
McAfee
now.
said a couple things. Like, here's the thing. Pat McAfee is actually the most entertaining thing on the show,
I
but
agree.
at the same time, sells it out. Like, Seth Rollins was dressed like Michael Jackson last night. Like not even
Yeah.
like he was wearing a Michael Jackson costume on SmackDown. Oh, this I said last night. I watched it last night. It was Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and like. Pat McAfee just goes like, there's Roman Reigns and there's Seth Rollins dressed like Michael Jackson. You're like, bro, you're supposed to like sell this moment. Like, you know, it's like,
Right.
But also, can you blame him? Like,
No.
Seth Rollins is in there dressed like Michael Jackson. He had the white socks.
Right.
And like, you know, the audience is like thinking it. And it's a little bit like, Seth, stop dressing like Michael Jackson
Right.
if you're trying to like set up this meaningful fight. I don't know. So then Rollins and Reigns, they cut a promo, and their promo is really good, but also it's like they're going back to the Shield shit. Like, you know what I mean?
That's all they have. What else do they have?
Because that's all they have. These feuds come out of nowhere. It's like
Yeah.
they had a couple bullet points, which is that Seth's beaten him in every title match because he beat him at Mania, and he beat him at when they had a title match when Seth came back, and then I think Ambrose, that was when he was doing the pedigree.
Yeah.
Reigns went to spear him. He turned a spear into a pedigree, like in a fluid moment. And then Rollins won. I think it was Rollins' first match back when he came back from his knee injury. Okay?
Yeah.
Then Ambrose cashed in, and that's how Ambrose had the title.
Right. I remember.
So I think those are the two matches I remember, and Reigns winning. Both of them schmozzy, both involving a cash-in. Okay?
Right.
I guess not schmozzy because Rollins won clean, but then Dean came in. But
Right.
that's a good point. But then also he's like, and so you're worried about fighting me, and then the Shield, they put the fist in. But you're like, Seth, you're a whole nother character now.
Right.
And then Reigns' big beef was just like, yo, I don't know if you've heard. And I actually dug it. The writing was good for Reigns. He's still not a good actor. Like, that's the thing is like he still can't really. He's still not. He would still see him in his head. Like, he's not convincing. He looks good and the writing is good and you'll buy it, but it's still not convincing, you know?
I think that you are looking for a level of like convincing or convincingness that you're looking at like like we're talking about 5% or 10%. Right? Like it's not a lot.
It's good. It's good enough. Like Reigns is still the top guy,
Right.
and I'm going to juxtapose this and jump over to AEW after. Right. But I'll say is that so anyway. I'm definitely judging wrestling like as like I literally take acting class, right?
Right.
So obviously I'm going to be like critical of this, but Reigns' statement was, and I'll want it to be better. But Reigns' statement was like, "Yo, actually, like I'm big time now." Like, I don't even know, like you're like,
he said, I'm
talking
in
about
God
the past.
mode.
I'm in God mode.
Yeah.
Because I'm in God mode, which was dope. Reigns was fucking great in this. Like, the writing was really good.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm in God mode. And then he's like, you're not even like on my level, let alone, you're not even the person I'd want to wrestle in your household. You know?
Yeah. If I wanted a megastar to main event Royal Rumble, I would have chose your wife.
That shit was fucking good. Let's be honest. Like, that's old school. It's essentially the equivalent of like calling, like it's at least it's another version of saying bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like, at least it's a
But also true.
Just true. You're but then so that's it. But I'm just so fucking tired of this Seth. Like everything Seth was saying, he didn't need to be dressed like fucking Cruella DeVille and Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? Like everything he said. Because it's like, if you're going to do the character when he was like, I'm the Messiah, but now he's Seth freaking Rollins. And I think they're easing towards it because he's calling himself freaking Rollins and now he's baby. And literally had like the Usos attack him. So he's gonna go baby and that's fine. But like, boy, oh boy, do I just not need this peacocking from Seth, especially when his wife's doing the same thing. Like it's literally like they had a pro earlier. He's just like laughing like crazy. You don't need a twinge of, you don't need a layer of I'm crazy for Seth Rollins when he's cutting this kind of like architect-y level promos.
Right.
You know? So I hope they get rid of that. And then also, I don't really like Seth in this goofy state, especially as he's been losing pretty much the whole time as this heel character. It's hard to take the match seriously because you want Seth in his old gear, against Reigns. Then you're like, oh shit, there's a shot of him being the champ again. You know?
I'm gonna make a possibly controversial statement,
Okay.
or rather, a question that is implying a statement. Has Rollins ever had a clear gimmick or clear like motivation in any of his characters? Like, I get
Seth?
architect,
Yeah,
right, but what does that
architect.
mean? But what does that mean?
Oh, the Architect was a character who was like, look, by any means necessary. It was an edge. It was the ultimate opportunist gimmick, right? It was
Okay.
like, he's like, yo, I suck up. I suck up to management. You know what I mean?
Right.
I suck up to management, and it's just all about being the top dog. No one's safe. That was great. He was
But what was
literally.
he was architecting what? Like plans and schemes?
Yeah, he's always because it started with Triple H. Triple H saying like the Shield was like running amok on Raw. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Taking out, I think, Evolution. Am I
Right.
making that up? I mean,
think so, you're
Whatever.
right.
I think Batista was there even. I think that was the Blue Tista era. But anyway, and so by the way, Matt McCarthy. When Batista wore all blue, I was sitting next to Matt McCarthy, and he was like, "It's Blue Tista," and he tweeted it out, and it was the first tweet as Blue Tista.
Yeah.
And he got no credit for that. But
Wow.
Matt McCarthy of the We Watch Wrestling podcast, great guy, a great
but
guy,
si-
also a great
since-
guy. That's the Cheap Heat podcast. Brian Dipperstein, Peter Rosenberg, Sweet Stack Guy Greg, also great guys. So
Since the architect.
yeah. So then Triple H was like, all right, well, there's always a plan B, right? And then when he said that is when he hit him with the fucking chair, right?
Right. And so he was sort of the architect of this whole thing or what. Okay. So beyond that,
And he
though,
said
after
it's
that,
not cashing, it's not selling out, it's buying in. Remember?
buying in. Right. Okay. Got it. I would argue that's not architect like I think architect, I think someone who's like pulling strings and like in my mind, Triple H is the architect in that scenario.
I
But
agree.
I'm not trying to pick it apart. What I'm trying to say is like it feels like
But
for
he
the longest
architected
time,
his cash in. Like the cash in,
Perfect.
remember? Like he was like,
Love it.
oh, I'm gonna have Reigns. Like you could argue, like he's like, I'm gonna have Reigns main event WrestleMania, but it doesn't matter because I got the case, and I'm gonna architect that these two guys beat the shit out of each other. You know what I mean?
Love it. Okay, fine. But all I'm trying to say is it seems like for the longest time, his gimmick and his sort of wants and motivations have been in that sort of like worst of Bray Wyatt kind of realm where it's like these vagaries about like what he wants and why he deserves it. And he's always, and like there's a gimmick, like he's the King Slayer or whatever. He's going after Triple H. He's the Beast Slayer. He's going after Brock Lesnar. But it's always this sort of like, his gimmick for the longest time feels like it's always needed. It's like it's in relation to another wrestler.
Yeah.
And it's nothing about what he wants. It's nothing about what his motivations are.
Sure, but burn it down, Seth, was like kind of about burning down the fucking
I'll give you that.
establishment when he was like the good guy, just being like, yo, fuck these, like I lost my way. Seth's had a fucking great
So that's his two
career.
So that's his two modes then, right?
Yeah.
So like part of authority,
And
sucking
then
up to it.
Messiah
but-
mode, which I would argue never really clicked, but it was. I'll give him a little bit of credit because it's pandemic zone, but the Messiah Seth Rollins was like I liked it, but I didn't love it.
Did Aleister Black have anything to do with the Messiah turn?
No, there was the Buddy Murphy moment, remember?
But they were yeah, okay.
Aleister Black did absolutely nothing. He sat in a black room and,
And said, "Come fight me."
Said knock on my door and
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, as we know, that was all a hallucination.
As you know, our blockade is perfectly legal.
Are you Are you watching Boba Fett?
I started it. I got to tell you, I'm in this weird zone where, like, if you told me as a kid there was going to be, like, a Boba Fett TV show, and that they were going to get the guy who played Django back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that they're going to show me a clip of him breaking out of the Sarlac Pit, which I thought was completely underdone. I was like, what? This should be, like, the whole episode, right? No?
I mean, it kind of was.
Wait, I didn't finish the first episode. Do they go back to it?
Well, the whole first episode is there's a lot of flashbacks.
No, I want him actually getting out of, like, Like
Well,
he did it so easily. You know what I mean?
I thought it was funny, and I don't know if it was on purpose that it aligned with Patton Oswalt's rant in Parks and Rec, like with the hand like coming out of the sand. It's
right.
Like when he's doing his fan fiction, like that's how he
yeah.
describes it happening, and then that's how they showed it happening.
So I didn't understand that. Cause I rewatched that part 3 times.
Yeah,
and I was like, I love that he took air from the stormtrooper. That was sick. Because like anytime you could show that a bounty hunter is like savvy in survival, you know what I mean? I love that, right? It's like he's losing air. He's like, oh, I know that they have an oxygen tank. Like that's the shit I love. Right. And then he takes out the flamethrower. He uses like his flamethrower, and I guess he burns through the side of the pit. He gives it an ulcer essentially, right?
Right. I ate a Boba Fett.
Yeah. I guess
my agita.
Put like protonics, just like like a dump truck of it to fix the Sarlac Pit. That's like a robot chicken sketch, right?
Yeah. Waving it down
like a bunch of Tums. Anyway, so but then he goes. So then I guess he just climbs out of the sand.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. He like dug up through the sand.
I thought it was the least fun way for him to get out of the pit. I would love him to climb back out the mouth.
Oh yeah,
and, you know what I mean?
I wonder. Because I know there was a comic book,
and he did it in a second. Like I would have the whole episode him trying to fucking Jimmy out of that thing, and then maybe there's another alive guy in there he has dialogue with, and he turns his back on him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like to me, it was such an important thing. That I was like, oh, and that's my thing is that if you told me it was going to be a Boba Fett TV show, I'd be like blown away. But now my brain's like these. It's so much. They all feel like just side missions. You know what I mean? Like, what I like about Star Wars is, like, it's episode 1, episode 2. Like, the stakes of being like, this is an official episode.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so high to me. You know what I mean? That, like, I don't even know how J.J. Abrams, like, sleep at night being like, I mean, you know what I mean? And then I don't know how he sleeps at night after he destroyed. That last movie is just absolutely abysmal.
I don't even remember if I saw it. I don't think I did.
Here's a Star Wars meme that I adore, okay? I saw it last night. But I don't know if I can get it in focus. I don't have Phil here to bring it up proper. Wait, all right, well, it says, I like
Star Wars where an ass was driving
around. So I like the part of Star Wars.
I saw that this morning.
An ass was driving around.
It's so good. And it's like a fucking Tondirian head or something.
Oh, woo! Oh. Anyway, so that being said, Seth Roman, 100% excited to fucking watch that. Like, right? Bottom line, that's it. Like a Rumble, that's the that's like the Mania match. And look, who knows what they're setting up with Brock? Maybe they're going for a triple threat with them, like a rematch of 31. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? I'm not exactly sure, but I want to go over to Dynamite for a second. By the way, like I was saying, WWE, like, Sami Zayn did a segment that's just like, who wants this? It was in Zayn. He was doing his own Jackass parody. And like, shout out to Sami Zayn as a performer. He's very good. Like, he is very good. He gets that mic time for a reason. They give him stuff and he sells the fuck out of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So good for him. But Jesus, the show was fucking atrocious. Cut over to AEW, though, and I'm going to be critical of AEW this week, okay?
Yeah.
Look, I'm way more of an AEW fan than WWE right now. It's not even close, right?
Right.
But shit, this was like the Dynamite of terrible mic work. This was terrible mic work. This was the terrible mic work Dynamite. I mean, it kicks off like Adam Cole. Listen, it's not one of my guys. I'm an Adam Cole fan. I mean, Tulo will kill me right now. He's fucking killed. He's like, I saw Britt Baker came out with him. And it's like, I get it. That is very fucking cool. But like, these promos they're cutting are shit. And then they give the microphone to Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. And they cut maybe the worst promo. Like, it was, I'm like, these are like cool guys in wrestling, and they're saying nothing, and the crowd's not reacting at all. Now, maybe the crowd was smaller and they were expecting way more pop because like the Britt Baker kissing Adam Cole thing, I think they're expecting the crowd to go insane.
Right.
And I think the crowd went mild. You know what I mean? And but they need to write these promos. I'm sorry, the writing is fucking generic garbage. Like I don't you got a tag team called Red Dragon for no reason. Like imagine you turn on this show, you're like, "Hey, these two guys are Red Dragon." But they hang out with Adam Cole who's says boom and baby. Right. And then there's a dentist.
Right.
Okay? And like I'm saying like I'm not saying they need like stuff to be written like so clean and wrestling can't be Where is Sheffield going?
I don't know. I saw that.
Sheffield's stealing the show. Watch on the YouTube. He's a wrestling YouTube channel, by the way. And he's just really exploring the couch. Make it your own. Sheffy. What's up, boy? Hi, boy. What's up, dude? Anyway. And there he went. But yeah, it was like I was just like I had to be honest. I was like, this is fucking bad. You know what I mean? Like this is like what I don't even remember what they're talking about. I don't have it like down to a side. But I was like they need some writers. Like honestly, they could use some fucking real writers over there. I know it's not what they want to do, but
not everyone is going to be a Malachi Black who has fucking notebooks full of storyline.
So then that's what I would say is like also fine, book the show in a way where the guys who can talk are going to talk, but like if Cole's going to come out, give him a microphone, and Cole is the biggest culprit of great sounding promos with no substance. And it's what I've always said about him. It's like he doesn't say anything anything specific ever. It's like I'm the best and I'm gonna win. He's like and dude, like you need more. Like Malachi Black's running circles around these guys, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just didn't even know what to say. Then they cut to Jericho. Jericho cut maybe the sloppiest promo. He's still just making fun of everybody's head and no one's laughing, you know? And then
also,
Cowboy
it's like
cuts
he's
a
approaching
promo.
dangerous territory to be talking about the shape of people's heads. Like, you're on the borderline.
Oh, man. It's like, get these microphones to MJF, to Punks, to Eddie Kingston's, you know, because it's like,
Eddie
to
Kingston,
Daniel Bryan even. Daniel Bryan cuts a great promo. Like, he doesn't, it's not like, anyway, whatever. His promos are not, Daniel Bryan, I know Shebs has like problems with Daniel Bryan's promos and blah, blah, blah. Daniel Bryan can cut a promo, you know? Even Sting, who I knock his promos, these guys need to have a little bit of the old school flavor in there if you're going to be on television. Like, you need to be performing better.
Right.
So, I don't know. I just was like, oh my God. Now, that being said, like, because, you know, like Jurassic Express, they got Christian, which is helping them a lot, you know?
Yeah.
He's very good on the microphone, you know? So, I don't know. Cody's great on the microphone. They have a lot of great guys on the microphone. And this was the display of the inarticulate. Jesus. Now, that's my negative shit. I don't know how you felt. Did you feel that?
I honestly, I watch for Malachi to show up. I enjoy the rest of the stuff just fine. I really like Hook. I like everything that's happening there. I like Taz a lot. I like a lot of the stuff, but I'm watching for the developments of the House of Black.
Well, AEW still has a lot of great shit going on, which I'm gonna get into. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying this is like they got because Sean Spears on Rampage cut, I thought, the best promo of the two shows, which is that's insane for me to say.
Damning indictment of that entire company.
I thought his promo was surprisingly good, but I might have just been fucking gasping for air here, like, to see something. Because the best promo, the best segment I watched of all the stuff wrestling I watched this week was Roman Rollins. So you guys want to shit on WWE, then make better segments, you know, or more engaging television. Now, that being said, AEW's got a lot of cool shit going for them right now. I think Wardlow is stepping into a zone of stardom. I mean, he's a guy when somebody says to you like, "Hey, here's an opportunity," and then you run with it. This is what this guy's doing. He's getting in incredible shape. He's messing around with the gear, finding his right gear. He's getting tan as fuck. He's not showing up to TV ever not looking like a star. He looks like fucking Tom Hardy of wrestling. Like he's the Tom Hardy of wrestling.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
You know what I mean? And he's a fucking star.
Yeah.
It's awesome. MJF obviously still fucking shining, but this purple gear that Wardlow was in, he looked great. I thought, great.
Yeah. MJF reminds me of that Sesame Street character Tully.
Which one's Tully?
Let's just Google him.
What is that? Google? Oh no, that's Tully Blanchard, bro. Tully Tullivan.
Yeah.
I mean, this character, that's hilarious. This character is just Cookie Monster, but with another color, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Telly Monster. Yeah. Oh, he eats what? Televisions, I guess? But yeah, that's who MJF looks like to me.
He eats televisions?
I don't know. If Cookie Monster eats cookies, and Telly Monster might eat televisions.
Bro, I literally thought you were serious.
I don't know. I
thought that was a shoot.
It wasn't a rhetorical question. I was asking, does he eat televisions?
All right. I even like the Bucks on the microphone. Like, at least they're saying stuff, too. I don't know. I just think they need a massive overhaul of the writing. Like the wrestling is so fucking good, but these guys need to be like coached in the. I'm basically saying hire me, but they won't, obviously. But fuck, who were we just talking about? Where was that just going?
I mean, Adam Cole.
No.
Wardlow.
No. All right, I'll go back to my notes. But I had a point I wanted to make, and I was excited about it.
Okay. Well,
this happens from time to time. You know what I mean? This happens. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna bother me because I know what every time this happens. I know it's fine. I'm sure it's in my notes here somewhere. Anyway, I just think I think that the AEW show it's like it could use a little finesse, baby. Could use a little finesse.
I mean, they've been around for 3 years, so.
Yeah, but I just think they've so much. It's just frustrating because they've got so much going for it that I think just sometimes I'm like, let's just they're spending a shit ton of money. Like, why not spend money on some writers? Because they clearly don't have writers. I don't know. Cowboy Lance Archer they're setting up, which I think it's good. It's just, here's my other kind of beef with AEW, which is like, look, Lance Archer ain't going to beat Cowboy, right?
Right.
Every title shot they have is like, they go on it's almost like, feels like an X amount of run, right?
Right.
Which is why I thought Daniel Bryan should have beat Cowboy, Mm-hmm. Just to switch up the pattern they have here. Because this is, what they're going for is clear just title reigns, I thought it was cool Brock winning the title off of Big E because even Big E was like, I was disappointed in the run, like he was saying in an interview. And you're like, yeah, like it felt like they took it off him because they're like, going into Mania season, you can't hang,
Right.
Whether you agree or not is whatever, but that stakes to that title has that work shoot element. AEW feels like once they give it to you, they let you ride out. And they haven't had I know what I was going to say. I was going to talk about Charlotte. So let's remember that. It doesn't feel like they have the fucking nuts to pull the ball, to pull the string out. Like if it's not working. And
they don't have the nuts to pull the balls.
Yeah. Now they're stuck with Cowboy because he's a homegrown talent. So letting Daniel Bryan beat him is dangerous, but I still would have done it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that even exists. I don't think the fan, like, in memetry and IWC talk, people are going to be like, well, look, they just make WWE talents. But that's not going to draw people back to, like, I'm done watching this. Because anyone who cares like that knows Daniel Bryan's an indie guy to begin with, and is not like, you know what I mean? They're not like this. So I think Daniel Bryan taking this title off Cowboy would have set up such a great dynamic there, which is like Cowboy always falls short, you know? He's young.
Be a funny heel gimmick, the homegrown talent, where it's just like every city he's in, he's just like clearly not from there. He's like, I remember growing up on, you know, on this shitty little street.
Yeah. Yo, actually, you just reminded me, Johnny Knoxville said something that was, he pulled like on the Summerfest kind of a thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, I think it was in his like I think he did a post on social media that was like, he said some version of like something Royal Rumble-y that was off. Here,
the Battle Rumble.
No, it was when he was giving. Oh, he's he's like photoshopping himself into like wrestling matches. Like here's one like him like giving Brock an elbow. And he's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's going like, yo, you guys, it's way back Wednesday. It's like, remember when I elbowed Brock, you know? And it's like pretty funny. But he said, yo, here's what it is. He said he called Brock Lesnar a short timer instead of a part timer.
Part timer, yeah.
You know, like I love when someone tries to come into wrestling and it's so clear that they don't watch. Like it's something I love. It's like wrestling's so fucking insular that way as such fanboys.
Right.
You're like, you know, your part timers like you're gonna be banned from the Summerfest. That's what's his name? Jerry Piven.
Oh yeah. Was that on purpose though?
No.
Summerfest?
No, these guys come in, they get coached for 2 seconds in Gorilla, right? And they're like, all right, you just say like he's banned from SummerSlam. And then they're like out there, they're not used to performing in front of 20,000 people who really care about this thing that you're just popping into based on your stardom of a show they don't give a fuck about because they got 40 hours of wrestling a week to watch. You know what I mean? And so they come in and it's like, you're banned from the Summerfest.
How did he die? Oh, he tried to watch all of the wrestling and Entourage in 1 week.
Listen up, you short timer. Yo, Brock Lesnar's a short timer, bro. I know it's controversial, but he's a short timer.
He's here for a good time and a short time.
All right, here. Question. This is me and Tulo were talking about on the text thread. Better women's division, AEW or WWE? The soundboard's fucked up today. I'd give you.
I mean, bearing in mind that like the WWE women's division necessarily includes Dana Brooke, right?
yeah, and she's badass, man.
Okay.
Yo, Dana's badass, man.
Somebody's favorite wrestler.
By the way, there is a Rumble pool happening run by, I think, AJ Pittner and Emily Scott are running it. The details are in the Facebook group and the Discord. I think it's like $15 to get entered to both pools, I believe. But, you know, the details are there. Those guys are running it. I'll be involved. I'll be getting in the mix. I'm officially entering myself into the Royal Rumble pool. Anyway. All right.
Okay. So just based purely on star power,
yeah,
with WWE having, you know, Carmella, Becky, Naomi, fucking Alexa, fucking, I'm forgetting everybody's name, but I would say WWE has the stronger women's division.
The WWE women's division is way stronger than the AEW women's division, in my opinion. Now, that being said, the booking has been way more exciting in the AEW's women's division, right? But the booking in WWE's women's division is so bad. I mean, they just bury all this great talent. But if you look at like Shayna Baszler, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But if you look at their roster, they like fucking Bianca, Charlotte, Sasha, Becky.
You put the entire women's roster on a poster, and you're like, this is stacked.
Yeah, the women's roster in WWE, the writing but booking wise, they don't do shit like. I'm sure they would love to have those kind of street fights and shit, like, you know, like Tay is having. But those the WWE women's division. So like Tulo's always like she's got to go to AEW to Charlotte.
Yeah.
I'm like I don't really know about that. You know?
Yeah. Right. I mean, you can't conflate. People should be careful to conflate like the booking and the division.
Yeah, like Charlotte belongs in WWE. Like she's such an, I don't know. Do you really see matches for her in AEW? Like, not really. I don't even. To be honest,
I mean,
I'm not
outside
sure.
of the sense that like I would watch her wrestle anybody. No.
Yes, but like, I would love to see Charlotte like a forbidden door kind of situation. But Charlotte over there, they're gonna run into a problem where she's way better. Like, I mean, Britt Baker can't wrestle even close to the level of Charlotte. She can put on like a good show and bleed out and surprise you with how far she'll go. But the technical ability of the Sasha, Bailey's, Becky,
and plus you put them side by side, and it's like
yes, like that's just the reality. Like Bianca's kind of on another. Like Bianca is kind of on another level than a lot of the women's division. Like Jade is awesome, but Jade can't go like at that level. They're building up. I think AEW women's division will get there. I believe in what they're doing. But if I'm Charlotte, I stay in WWE. I gotta be honest. You know,
right?
Like you're gonna turn down. She main events every Mania. I mean, last year was the exception, which was good for her because it built up Bianca and Sasha more to wrestle her. It all comes back to her. So Charlotte is the new, like the Kevin Owens. You will see her resign. Trust me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she knows. She'll do that math and say there's some wrestlers something here for you, and some wrestlers there's not. And even Kevin Owens, there's something there for him. He has another run in him over there. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That was the argument. Anyway. That's everything for this week. Really, I think we can get the F out of here. What do you say, buddy? What do you say?
Man. Yeah.
A lot of good stuff heading into. I'm excited. I mean, I watched SmackDown. I'm excited for the Rumble. I doubt any shows besides just the clips of Brock that I'm going to see are going to get me excited about the Raws and SmackDowns leading up to Rumble. You know what I mean? But the Rumble will be fun. Like maybe we'll see like Braun Breaker come into the Rumble. Maybe Ciampa comes up. Like there's cool shit that can happen over there. Plus they could have might fucking throw a curveball this year and have someone fun win, like a Riddle or something. Like who the fuck knows? You know what I mean? If they have the thing is that they're probably just gonna go Roman Brock and just have one title match. You know what I mean? And then have the women main event the first night. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then Roman Brock, it's hard to see how that's going to be something I'm excited about. That's hard. That's hard. I like Brock as a baby, but it's hard to. But, like, who can wrestle Brock? Like, honestly, who could wrestle Brock?
Yeah.
Oh, we have Brock Lashley at the Rumble, right?
Oh, yeah.
That, like, I'm pumped for that.
Yeah.
No? This is a long time coming, that match. And Lashley, we'll say about Lashley. Like, Lashley Jabroni on the mic. We know this. But he's got MVP. I would say Lashley's done a nice job of stepping up as a main eventer. You know, he belongs in the main event picture. His match with Goldberg kind of ruled, like, right? Yeah.
It does. I mean, no pun intended. A lot of the heavy lifting, like for you.
Brock Lashley, come on, I'm pumped for that. This Rumble's going to be a great time. I'm expecting. Did you see the last thing I'll say? They're looking at calling the Elimination Chamber the WrestleMania Chamber.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's
what
most
does that
like
even mean?
Yeah, that's like frosting on frosting. The elimination. I've always said that the Chamber should be the SummerSlam Rumble. You know?
Yeah.
They got a couple events. If I'm them, I swap out Survivor Series entirely for Money in the Bank. Right, that's what I would do. Make Money in the Bank pay-per-view one of the 4 pivotal ones.
I see.
You know what I mean? So that now you have a briefcase before the Rumble. You know?
Right.
And so you can ride it past the Mania even, right? But there's always the chance of a cash-in at Mania.
What about a cash-in? What about a Royal Rumble cash-in? Like somebody's number comes up, number 8, they come out, and then, what's this? Someone else's music hits, and they cash in and they take their spot in the Rumble.
You cash in on a Rumble spot? Well, I mean, listen, I got to be honest, I'm not even opposed to the Money in the Bank pay-per-view being like casino night, okay?
Right.
And like one of the things is like a Royal Rumble entrance spot. Like, you know what I mean? Like everything is about earning a ticket.
Wheel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing's about earning a championship. It's all about earning a ticket. You know what I mean?
A chance to. Yeah.
Before your match, they hand you a fucking Wonka bar to open. Oh, man. Anyway, let's get out of here. I got shit to do. But everybody, bonus episode coming at you, everybody, at Friday AM. That we'll be talking about. We'll have watched Dynamite. Main episode's coming about Monday, and I'll come back and let you know we're doing a $10 level on Patreon. Thank you for everyone for your patience and us getting back on track here in the new year. But we are back, daddies. We're sexy, and we're ready to go. Everybody, keep watching wrestling. Kisses. It got weird.